So, into the sequel of the Alien movie called Aliens, the intro already seems like an improvement. We got better audio and visual. Not to mention, this sequel was directed by James Cameron. And the sequel takes place, 6-7 years after the first one? It's really interesting to see the differences that a few years make. Aliens. So the film takes place 57 years after the first movie. Ripley is seen in her little shuttle space pod thing that she escaped on. Remember the last movie when she destroyed the Nostromo and spat out the alien? You can check out the video that I did on this before, or you can just watch the movie yourself, which is honestly the better deal. Anyway, she is rescued by her employers, a company called the Weyland-Yutani Corporation. Aw, Jonesy's okay too.
How long was I out there?
Has no one discussed this with you yet?
I hate when people do that, because obviously if she's asking, this means that indeed no one has discussed this with her. And then everything goes to hell because then she discovers there's a chest burster inside of her. She's like, no! And then it turns out that she was dreaming about the whole thing. But she really did get rescued, thank goodness. Thank goodness it wasn't one of those movies that went from the angle of, yeah, you're free now, but you're actually not, like The Descent did. That was messed up. It must be sad for her to see all of her friends' pictures knowing that they're gone. For her, this just happened, but 50-something years has passed.
For self-destruct by you for reasons unknown.
Not for reasons unknown. I told you. We sat down there on company orders to get this thing.
So basically, the company does not believe her. They're like, we've seen some of the accounts that you're talking about and that you set down on this planet and whatnot, but as for aliens and eggs and chest bursters and all that stuff, are you okay? You've probably been in hypersleep for quite a bit of time. How about you have some freaking space coffee? It doesn't really help that now the moon that they had touchdown on is now a terraforming colony, and nobody has seen anything happen like that, so she must be making it up, right? I like how this woman is explaining to her, like, yeah, so let me get this straight. You talk about something that's never been recorded in over 300 of the worlds we've seen, and it gestates in living humans and has potent acid for blood. Are you okay, ma'am? Do you need some shockwaves?
Bullshit that you think is so important. You can just kiss all of that goodbye.
It's so interesting when you watch these older movies, and I've noticed this, especially with American movies, that everyone had this specific way of speaking. Especially the kids, you hear it on them more. They sound like they're talking through a radio because that was a technology back then, but they have this drawl. You can just kiss all of that goodbye. And they all speak like that. It's very interesting. Very conveniently and shortly after, Lieutenant Gorman and this other guy that works for Weyland is like, we need your help, cause you see, well, the thing is that, we lost contact with the colony, even though they've been there for 20 years, and we just lost contact with them now. We need your help because you just recently claimed that they were aliens, and we don't believe you, because people have been down there for 20 years and everything's been fine, but the moment you come back and have said that, losing contact with them can't be anything else but what you said. Then they have the gall to want her to go along. Apparently she can't get a job as anything else. She used to be a flight officer, and they say the only way that she can get that job again is if they go with her. But just to be like an advisor, for nothing else, even though she doesn't want to go because she was traumatized from these things. Wanting her to be there as an advisor makes no freaking sense because, as she says, she already gave them all the information they needed. But now she's strong-armed into wanting a job, or needing one, and she doesn't want to go back because she claims she'll be mentally inept if she does. But they want her to go anyway, which makes no freaking sense. And we're all aware that this is just a ploy for the main character to go back into a situation we saw her in the first movie because she's amazing. No different than what they did with Alan Grant in Jurassic Park 3 and Ian Malcolm in Jurassic Park 2. Poor Jonesy. At least he doesn't have to go back. So she's like, we're going to destroy them, right? Even though, why is he not in his clothes? What's going on there? Anyway, she goes in with the crew. At least they're better clothed this time. I'm shooting a Baywatch commercial. Why does everyone look like action figures? This is where we meet Vasquez, the woman who looks like an action figure and is supposed to be Hispanic, but she looks Jewish. But then again, she can also pass for Cuban. I love how tough she is. She's a tomboy and one of the guys. Who is this? Who is this dude? Doesn't look like he belongs there with the others. I'm not saying the rest of them are ugly, but he just looks like in a completely different league. I don't know. She's got that smoldering, handsome, like his head shape is perfect. Everything's perfect. Like a freaking supermodel. Here we also meet Bishop, another artificial intelligence person. After I'd watched this movie when I was younger, I tried doing this. I started off slow with a pencil, a very sharp pencil. And it only took about 3 seconds for me to freaking stab myself. And I was like, yep, grown-ups were right. Probably not do everything you see on TV. Anyway, when Ripley realizes that Bishop is an android, she loses her shit. She's like, you didn't say anything about a freaking android being on board, and I can understand where she's coming from because she just had a really bad interaction with the last one when he tried to freaking stuff a rolled up newspaper magazine thing into her mouth. You guys did tell me there's some lore for that, but, you know, I will never understand why a malfunctioning android would roll up a paper magazine to then stuff it in a human being's mouth. I don't get it, honestly. So this is when the colonel or the leader tells him a xenomorph is involved, some space creature, and understandably, nobody believes it. Ripley recounts a story of what happened in the first movie. Vasquez is all tough, and she's like, dude, I only need to know where they are so I can point and shoot them. And they're gonna find out really quickly that it's not that simple. So they set off on their journey. They've got mechs, they've got guns and heavy machinery. Ripley goes into one too. Guy on the left is kind of pretty too. Maybe they don't have model agencies in the future. We get more shaky visuals of them landing on the planet. Again, not bad when you consider the time. When the dropship finally arrives to the colony, it looks chaotic. Like these people fought for their lives or something massacred them. Or at least massacred the environment because there is nobody there. They find no bodies whatsoever. Which honestly to me is more terrifying because if I go somewhere where someone tells me that an alien thing eats people and lays stuff inside of them, and then I don't see any dead bodies, I see no bodies whatsoever. I don't know, but for me that's just way more unsettling.
You seeing this all right? Looks melted.
So clearly, that's alien xenomorph blood. Acid for blood, as she told them. You see, it's so nice when the main character can be believed by everyone finally. These soldiers are seeing the devastating effects of the acid blood for the first time, and just how far down it goes. As Ripley and the others are investigating, they find some face huggers inside of these containment tanks. Well, looky here, I guess the people did find out what they were. There are several dead ones and 2 live ones, which tells you, yeah, these people probably knew that these aliens were here a while back. When this guy puts his head up against the glass like a freaking idiot, we find out that the face huggers can detect with their little penile things when things are close, even if they're behind a barrier, which is terrifying. We start reading some of the journals of, I guess, the doctors or something, and one of them says that subject Marechik, John Jay, died during a procedure, and we're guessing that this procedure was removing the face hugger from his face. Which means that he died while they were trying to take it off. Because remember, in the first movie, when they tried doing that and removing it, it's discovered that these things also have acid blood because they are part of the aliens' reproductive process. Later, as they continue searching and they realize that the aliens are real, something flies by them. Ripley goes to look, and it's a little girl who has survived the ordeal named Newt. The little girl is terrified, and I don't blame her. She probably saw everything that happened with these alien things tearing everyone to shreds, and she's like, no, not me, no siree. I'm gonna live to see puberty. You guys knew by now I'm a weirdo. Turns out this is where Newt has been hiding out. Ripley has decided to take care of Newt. It's okay, I won't let you move or get away. I got you. This is the little girl, and her name is Rebecca Jordan. I don't know why this is the first time I'm seeing this. I've watched this movie several times, but to be fair, in the early stages I usually skip past these parts, so I never even knew what her real name was. And if they said it later on, I missed it.
What's her name again?
Rebecca.
See? Completely missed these parts. I don't even remember ever seeing this. When they start questioning the kid, they go in a little bit too hard, and Ripley saves the day. And this is the first time I've ever seen Ripley, like, caring with anyone. So this is one thing I liked about this movie, introducing a kid, so we could see how Ripley handles that. I know you guys have heard me say how I feel about kids in these types of movies, but this movie has stakes and people die and stuff, so it's okay, even though the kid does have a lot of plot armor. It's not as in your face and distasteful. So we find out why the little girl's name is actually Newt, or why they decide to call her Newt in the movie. It was another thing I completely missed when I saw it the first time, and I guess wasn't watching it like a normal person.
My name's Newt. Nobody calls me Rebecca except my brother.
Why, Ripley? Because you think she looks like one? Kid's not the greatest actor when it comes to talking, but her expressions are perfect. Okay, now that's not perfect. Being generous, but considering, like, what we get in general. So when Ripley asks Newt, okay, your brother's name is Timmy, peculiar, the kid from Jurassic Park. Anyway, where are they? And then she's supposed to be frustrated, but God, the kid's acting when she's talking is just deplorable. I'm sure as time goes on, she's a lot better, but Jesus Christ.
They're dead. All right, can I go now?
It's not supposed to be a funny scene, but the way that she does it, the way that she delivers it, just, oh God, it's so funny. James Cameron, come on. I know they're kids, But if Koreans and British people can make their kids cry and act like they're really in a situation, this shouldn't be an issue. Hell, the first Jurassic Park, as much as those kids were annoying, I believed their performance. Anyway, the soldiers have located where all the people are. There's alien slime and secretion everywhere. And this is where they find the crew, strung up along the walls and the ceilings and everywhere. Most of the colonists are in cocoons. We can see open eggs where facehuggers came out from. Dead facehuggers, which means that the people along the walls that are barely alive and are in stasis have chest bursters inside of them. New little xenomorphs that are getting ready to hatch.
What?
Tom, get over here, we got a live one!
Kill me.
Look, that's what they said from the first movie. That guy named Dallas, remember? So the next part that happens is hilarious to me because of the way that it happens, the way that it sounds when it happens. Like I said, I'm an idiot and I find the weirdest things funny. Of course, in real life, it would not be funny, but you're watching this as a movie. It's hilarious. She screams convulsion as the girl starts shaking, and then, I don't know, dude, it's just the sound design and the visuals all put together. It just seems very chaotic and hilarious.
Convulsion!
I'm an evil person. Ripley's already suffering through PTSD and she just saw someone's chest get bursted open again. The soldiers have no recourse but to flamethrower the thing. And thank goodness it seems to die. Now that baby thing made a very loud noise. And honestly, the reason why I love these movies is because they do suspense so well. Not saying that they were perfect, but honestly, even to this day, the way that Aliens unfolds the aliens from their hiding spots, I think was the inspiration from Alien Isolation. I must say, for all of you who are saying I should play that game, I tried, I played it, and honestly, no shame in saying this, before I even saw an alien, I gave up and stopped, because the nerves, but they were just no. Oh no. Every freaking sound, I was just shaking like a leaf, my blood pressure was super high, and that's saying something because I naturally have lower blood pressure. So I was like, nope, yeah, this is not the game for me. I can listen to creepypastas in the freaking dark, home alone, I can watch horror movies, I cannot play horror games, that is my weakness, and it's so ironic because I love video games. Couldn't do that one, nope, I'm the idiot who plays Dead Space and starts button mashing because I panic. You know, the way it unfolds itself like that is so amazing, and the sound it makes, it's extra quiet. You think it's part of the environment, but you realize very soon that it's not. That's freaking wicked. The scary thing is that thing moving is not the only one. There are lots of these things waking up. Apparently they were sleeping, and now they know that these humans are here killing off their offspring. This scene is so spectacular because it looks like the wall is made of all this alien substance, but what you're actually looking at are the aliens themselves making the wall, which is so amazing. The soldiers are all shooting, but they all start panicking. The commander's not doing a good job, so Ripley assumes command. Poor Vasquez. She was all like, just tell me where to point and shoot and I got this. And then seeing the soldiers humble here doesn't make me feel good that they're being killed. I remember when I was watching this with my mom's she's messed up. She was like, that's what y'all get for not believing. And I'm like, Jesus, Mom, that's kind of mean. Here I actually feel sorry for them because they thought they knew what was happening. And yes, the soldiers like, oh, they're just alien animals. They kill people. We got this. We're the heroes. We're gonna save you. And then they realize that their guns, while they're trying to help, actually backfires on them. When the aliens get wounded, they end up killing or hurting other people. Looking back at this guy's face got scoured with acid and droplets of it were everywhere. Then when his face turns, it looks like prosthetic makeup, like it doesn't look real. It's dry. Where's the wetness? It's supposed to be wet. I know a lot of you are going to be like, you're just nitpicking. If we don't pick at certain things, or if the producers or other people didn't pick at certain things, how would we have more believable movies? You point out that things are supposed to look more realistic and believable so that you can get better quality out of your movies, which is why a lot of the gory segments that you see today look more realistic than they did in the past. Shoot me. Ripley's actually one that goes to save them because she's not going to let a whole bunch of people get killed on her watch. You get to see how strong these aliens are. And after saving the crew, or what's left of them, she takes off while skirting off the rest of the xenomorphs. Hicks calls for the dropship to come to a location to pick up the remaining crew. When one of the guys is going up the ramp, he steps on something disgusting. It's clearly alien drool. He's like, there's something on my... And then he doesn't finish. Doesn't find it interesting that there's something on there. I guess he doesn't know what to look for. I figured this would have been something people would have, communicated to each other. Aliens leave slime everywhere, you know, you've seen it in the videos. But the pilot cuts him off and tells him to come in, hurry up. They need to get the rest of the people. So of course they take their spaceship with their freaking Squidward nose. Why does it freaking look like that, bro? It looks ridiculous. As Ripley and the others are seeing the ship come towards them, the pilot hears something behind her, or doesn't. She's like, where the hell are you? And then she turns around and sees the xenomorph smiling at her like,
what's up, baby? Take me out to dinner.
She gets killed before she can draw her weapon. Ripley and the others realize real quick, yeah, we're not getting rescued. Oh, how sad. I love the look on this guy's face. He's like, the ship just crashed down on all of us. The hell? He has the funniest looking Simpson panic face I have ever seen. So now the crew, or what's left of it, has to survive here. Apparently it's gonna take 17 days for someone else to rescue them. And this guy named Hudson starts freaking out. Ripley's like, not to rain on your parade, bro, but this little girl here, Newt, she survived longer than that with no training and no weapons. Hudson's not having it though. He's like, okay, put her in charge then. But Ripley puts her officer pants on and she's like, look, I need you to do this. Pull up some blueprints because right now this guy is so terrified and he just needs a purpose. Him panicking and telling everyone they're gonna die is not helping their situation.
We don't have much time.
Okay, I'm on it.
Hudson, just relax.
So Ridley comes up with a plan to barricade them, to avoid the xenomorphs getting quick and easy access to them. So cute Bucky guy is like, here's a locator so I can know how to find you anywhere. Sookie, sookie, rookie, rookie. I really need to stop. Ripley tucks Newt in, and she instead gives Newt the locator that the guy gave her.
Trying to figure out what we're dealing with here. They grab the colonists, they move them over there, and they immobilize them to be hosts for more of these.
So Ripley says there's gotta be a lot of these parasites then if that's the case, at least one for each of the 100 colonists. And she says each of these things comes from an egg. So exactly who's laying the eggs, which is very interesting because I always thought when I saw the first movie that, you know, the xenomorphs themselves can just lay eggs and have their own babies in a similar way to parthenogenesis, where they're all drones and clones of each other. But in this movie, they allude to it being some sort of termite queen. When Ripley tells the others that we should destroy the specimen, or specifically tells Bishop, he's like, oh, that Burke guy said that they're supposed to be kept alive and returned to the company labs. And then Ripley is like, really? This same person who told me that they would be killed, he assured me they'd be killed, so she confronts him. And honestly, this scene is so stupid because in the first movie, Ripley tried to do this with the android and the android almost killed her with a frickin' magazine.
You're dead, Burke! Don't you have any idea what you've done here?
Well, I'm gonna make sure that they nail you right to the wall for this. You're not gonna sleaze your way out of this one. Right to the wall.
Aren't you the same one who almost died? Because you made it very clear in front of the person who didn't have your best interest at heart, but you were gonna go and tell on him. And now you're gonna do that while you're locked in a room alone with a man who is bigger and stronger than you when you haven't learned your lesson in the first movie?
You know, I expected more from you. I thought you'd be smarter than this.
Me too! Cause my thing would have been, dude, why did you do that? Well, it's, you know, it was a bad call, I made a mistake. I would have been like, okay, all right, if you say so. Let's just get out of here. And then I would go and tell everybody else what he did so that even if he kills me, it will still get out there. I'm not for certain going to tell another person who I know can easily choke me out and claim that, you know, I had a sort of kind of accident or blame it on the monsters. I'm not going to do that while I'm stuck in a room alone with him, especially when you consider that's the same shit that happened to me in the first movie with the goddamn android. I love Ripley. She's one of my favorite characters, but goddamn, she's a freaking idiot. Isn't that the same kind of shit that got Ned Stark killed in Game of Thrones? You can't be so righteously indignant that you throw all logic to the wind, especially in a situation where people are dying left and right and it can be written off as a freaking mistake. Now, the other problem that the crew is facing, which Bishop tells them, is that when the dropship crashed and exploded, it damaged the power plant cooling system. So not only do they have to worry about the aliens, but they also have to worry about the place that they're holding up in overheating and exploding anytime soon, which yes, none of them will escape from. Ripley's like, we gotta come up with something. Of course, this is the part of the movie where Ripley's like, someone's gotta go out there manually and fix the thing that's broken that can only be fixed if someone goes out there manually to fix it with all the aliens and stuff out there. Of course, the android says that he'll go. He's the only one qualified to remote pilot the ship anyway, the other ship that they're gonna get to. Bishop also says that he doesn't want to. He's synthetic, but he's not stupid, which means that as a synthetic life form, he still has the desire to not be destroyed. destroyed, which gives him way more character development than they did with Ash in the first movie. So it is planned to go and travel to the colony transmitter so he can remotely pilot the main Mother Sulaco's other dropship to the surface. The others have to, once again, as they were doing, try to survive. Later, Ripley goes and snuggles with Newt. Oh look, there's some canisters on the floor. Wait a minute, weren't those the canisters that had the facehuggers in them? Nobody, nope. You see, my ass would have been inverted at that point. Because, you know, imagine catching a freaking spider, which is essentially what these freaking facehugger things are. But it's like a spider that can, like, violate you. You know the R word I'm looking for. And you put it in a tightly sealed container. And the container is now on the floor. And the contents are freaking missing. I don't know. I feel like I'd be acting like Hudson right about now. No thank you. Something out there that can stuff stuff down my throat and impregnate me against my will so it can burst out of my chest and then eat my friends. Its freaking legs look like hands and it's nowhere to be found. And it's all quiet and it's missing. No thank you. If you see facehuggers, I know Newt's little and she can't help it. It's a human reaction to scream and alert the rest of the pack. But don't open your mouth. I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's gonna force its way in there anyway.
Giggity, 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 ooh, ee, ooh, ah, ah.
The scariest part is that they can't get the door open. Imagine being trapped in a room with these things that you can't even escape. So because she can't get anyone's attention, she turns on the sprinkler alarm, which works like a charm. I hate how these things are able to hide so well under the darkest places you would not expect them to hide. That's something this movie did so expertly, is to make the monsters blend in with their surroundings or to make sure the lighting makes it believable that they're hiding. Even when I rewound this section several times and tried to look back to see if I could see the monster, I could not see that facehugger. It was still invisible to me. I think what makes these monsters so creepy is the fact that they look so much like freaking spiders. It's just disgusting. The fact that they want to go inside your mouth and they have long fingernails that look like human fingernails, that's freaking weird. Look at that. That's a human fingernail right there. Newt is screaming at the top of her lungs while another facehugger is going behind her, and I don't understand why she is screaming this loudly when previously, when everyone was getting massacred, she knew how to be expertly quiet and still, like Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy, but now she is making the loudest noises and has completely forgotten how she survived in the first place. Just really convenient. The other soldiers rescue Newt and Ripley. Ripley comes in and accuses Burke in front of everyone like she should have done from the get-go, and because it does look very suspicious, it turns out it is him, because, you know, he has the guilt all over his face, and there just happened to be two facehuggers that were in containment, and they were fine, and then the seals were just broken all of a sudden, and they were conveniently trapped in that room and couldn't get out. It was the only way Burke could get past quarantine with them carrying the embryos inside of them. Newt and Ripley. Newt being a freaking kid. The rest of the crew wants to gut him out, but Ripley stops them. As she does, the power is cut by the aliens, and so she says. This is how we know the aliens are very intelligent. The others can't believe it because they thought the aliens were just animals. Newsflash, humans are animals too, and they're very intelligent. Dolphins and chimpanzees are animals, but they're very intelligent. Something being an animal does not negate the fact that it has intelligence. The aliens attack the group by breaking through the ceiling in such a strategically planned way. So it's clear, yes, despite them being animals, the xenomorphs are very intelligent. And his just desserts, Burke is killed by one of the xenomorphs. That's what he gets. Vasquez and Gorman are cornered, and they sacrifice themselves to avoid them getting the torture that the others do, and they also do it to save the rest of the crew. Not that they had a lot of character development. I guess the only character development for them would have been, hey, we thought that the aliens were nonsense. Oh wow, we believe you now, and we don't know what we're supposed to do. But they're still badasses, because despite learning all of this, they're still willing to do their job as soldiers to protect the people who depend on them. Newt falls through a vent flue thing, and Ripley loses her, and she's down in like a sewer area. But Ripley refuses to leave her. Ripley brings an injured Hicks to the other dropship. Bishop has come through. I love how we hated the first synthetic, and so for the second one, they made us like it, which is, wow, basically the same thing they did with Prometheus and Covenant. Now, don't come to think of it, those prequel movies are basically rinse and repeats of the first and second Alien movie. Ripley arms up and goes back for Newt. Behold the legend of badass Ripley. Da-na-na-na-na-na. Armed with a flamethrower, Ripley finds Newt, who was captured by the aliens. As Newt is waking up, so was an egg. Let me scream and open my mouth as far as possible so that I can make it easy access for that thing to stick a skin down my throat. Ripley is fighting off xenomorphs left and right, and she rescues Newt. This is where she sees the queen, who is laying eggs like every minute. Oh, so that's who's laying all these eggs. That poor queen. This queen xenomorph is is the one responsible for the hive, and she doesn't really seem to even care that the humans are there, because she knows the drones will take care of them. I love this scene. I love that we get to see how social the xenomorphs are, because as Ripley threatens to blow her eggs to smithereens with the flame, she's like, bitch, I got fire. I can blow your whole nest up. You can almost hear the queen xenomorph saying, no, don't. Okay. Okay. I yield. She tells the other xenomorphs, step back, let them go. What did I tell you? Step back and let them go. It's the only reason why Ripley is able to get out of there. And that's freaking awesome, because it showcases that the animals are indeed intelligent, especially the queen, who is intelligent enough to know, put two and two together, that Ripley having a flamethrower means that she can easily kill her eggs, and that killing her or going after her is going to trigger her to use it, and thus burn up her eggs, which is very peculiar. Because this queen didn't really seem interested in her own well-being, but that of her babies, even though she has lots of them. Maybe there's also a piece of preservation there, and she knows if something happens to her, it's going to be harder for the hive to recover. Even though technically, wouldn't another xenomorph just become the queen? Oh well. Ripley's like, oh, so one of those things is opening up. What are you doing? Oh my god, no. I love the look that Ripley gives her. I don't think the queen intended for that to happen, because she can't control when the facehuggers are going to hatch. And you can tell the tension that was happening in the scene and the look on Ripley's face when it starts to hatch. It's like, I'm gonna hatch right now, I'm going to your mouth. Ripley's like, really, bitch? I tried. Nope, 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 nope. The xenomorph queen starts crying as she watches all of her eggs go up in flames. Ripley also shoots the female xenomorph, the queen, her egg sac tummy, which has to be very painful, and she takes Newt and leaves. However, the queen xenomorph is much more hardy than the other drones. She's able to detach herself from her egg casing and go after Ripley for revenge. The same way the queen White Spike from the movie The Tomorrow War sought revenge on the female human who locked her up. She's like, found you, bitch. This is a scary scene because the whole facility is exploding because the cooling system is being destroyed or was destroyed by the previous crash. And trying to escape this, they're also trying to escape the enraged queen. Thank goodness Bishop is able to get there in time. Ripley saves Newt, putting her on the dropship, and Newt tries to pull up Ripley, and they get away. Turns out Higgs is okay, and she likes synthetics now. Bishop saved them. Oh no, what is happening? Oh no, she kills Bishop. Oh, it's just like the first movie where there's a stowaway when everyone thought they got away, and she ends up killing someone. This part is really sad because even though Bishop is a synthetic, he was a character that everybody liked. It's sad to see that happen to him. The freaking queen was like, watch my sexy legs descend from out of this shit. Bitch! You thought that you got away, huh? You thought you were gonna bust up my vajayjay and all my children and I let you get away with that shit? The fuck is wrong with you? Then we get super level 20 Ripley mech 9000, and she uses the mech to fight off the queen. This is one of the best scenes, the sound design, the visuals, everything that I've seen in an Alien movie, and it still stands the test of time today. Look at, wow, this is a nice thumbnail. Right, hold on. Clickety clue. How long the back of her head is, dude. She can impregnate herself with her own head back if she reaches back far enough. I know. Ripley fights her ass off as the queen tries to hang on to her as Ripley drops the mech suit on her and then opens up the landing gear or the airlock thing to suck the queen through space. Just like they did in the first movie. Everything's being pulled towards the airlock, including Newt. Thankfully, the queen is sucked out into space, and clearly, you know, she lives. As Newt is about to be sucked through the airlock, good Ash, what's his name again? Bishop grabs onto her, saving her life. Ripley closes the airlock. I almost thought her foot was gonna get caught in between it. Why did you wait for that long for that to happen, dude? That could have been very bad. Does it have a sensor that prevents your leg from being caught if it's still stuck in there? Because, like, look, that could have been horrible. Everyone's okay except, you know, Newt being bathed in the android's milk. Bishop is like, that's not bad for a human, which is so cute. Stakes really felt high in this movie. They all enter hypersleep for their journey home. Why is Ripley wearing that? The little girl was wearing that. Oh, we didn't have clothes for her. So you mean to say that Ripley could have worn a t-shirt too? So I am guessing that the crew only wears what they're comfortable wearing to go to sleep. Not like they're going to be aware for it, so we know that that's completely for the audience. Finally, and hopefully they won't have any nightmares. Oh my god, thank you for ending the movie without a jump scare. And sucks to be you guys. Actually, the alien was inside one of them this whole time. Do you notice there's a trope with a lot of horror movies nowadays? It's like, they got away. Whoops, psych, no they didn't. It's either they got away or they didn't. Like, when every horror movie starts doing it, it becomes really old. Aliens was a really good movie for me. It's one of the few times I feel personally that sequels have actually worked well and are almost as good as or even better than the previous movie. Thanks so much for watching. This has been Ultiori. You ask, we answer.